as old as can be.
No, because then the body starts to follow along.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. It is Monday, January 13th, 2014. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. I'm here.
Here, Commissioner Zip.
There.
Okay, let's sign the journal. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion, we approve it as outlined.
Is there a
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes pass. Our first order of business is the resolution for reorganization of the Board of Commissioners. Do we have such resolution?
I'm sure I do in my pile here. We have a few things to decide. Who will be president of the board? I know that when we organized last year, the fingers were pointed at Ms. Stacy to be president. So we have president, vice president, and then board sessions, if you would like to continue those. They would be every Tuesday and the last Thursday of every month at 10, starting the week of January 21st. And the beginning, this is going to be a little confusing, the beginning of each quarter and the last Tuesday meeting will be moved to the various locations, and we will be doing those at 7. And I've got the dates just in case. January 28th, April 29th, July 29th, and October 28th, all at 7. Republic, New Regal, Green Springs, and then Bloomville. So that is my suggestion.
Does that meeting schedule work for the board? It's
I thought
basically
it worked,
the same
worked
as
well,
last.
every Tuesday, and then the last Thursday of the month, and the first Tuesday of every quarter. I think Harley, I think that was a great suggestion to have roving commissioner meetings. I see no reason why we can't. My only question is the work sessions that we had on the first and third Tuesday of the month.
Yes, first and third,
Do we
at
want to
9:30.
continue that? Was there value in that? I guess that's more really for the public, did they, and also for the fellow commissioners, did you see value to that? You want to continue with that?
I like the work sessions. I mean, if we get to the point, we find that we sit here for a half hour and/or we start and they have nobody or whatever, then we could look at that and maybe pare it down to 1, but we haven't found that to be totally empty time other than maybe the last 5 minutes on occasion.
Or the time Fred's in Florida.
Yeah.
Strike that.
I do feel that some people have felt a little more comfortable when I said, well, we have these work sessions and this is an opportunity, and they're going, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And plus we immediately for planning, first and the third, and give some direction for those. I don't know if you have found that helpful when you talk to people too, because you get a lot of those calls, but.
I think it's more open, less formal. We're inviting people. I mean, I would like to continue with it, and I've seen some value. I would have hoped that we would have seen more input and more people coming up to the commissioner's office, but there is some value, and we did have some of that.
Yeah.
And that is in the
Yep.
resolution?
Yep.
Okay.
Work sessions at 9:30 on the first and third Tuesday.
And then we've kind of assumed Holly's going to be the
I
president?
absolutely am in
Okay.
favor of that one.
And then that's fine with you? All right.
That's
And
Can we make it a 3-year term?
And do you agree to be vice chair?
I want the lowest on the whole totem pole.
That's kind of the cycle.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that, but that's kind of the cycle we have followed.
Yeah, does that mean that automatically go to the chair next year?
That'll be up to you two and whoever is with you next year.
I really don't care to have that position, but.
It's not automatic. Different boards have done different ways through the years.
Yeah.
We've
Some
had
have left the
presidents
same
for-
chairman
yep.
for 3-4 years, so,
Yeah.
well, maybe not that long, but for multiple years.
Yep.
I'm certainly supportive of.
Okay. Okay, so we have a resolution naming Commissioner Stacy as chair, Commissioner Zoller as vice chair, and setting our meeting dates for the
Yep.
coming year.
Yep.
We probably ought to do that first. Is there a motion to?
I make a motion that we approve that as outlined, as discussed.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay, any more discussion on that? Okay, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Okay, Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy? I had the wrong paper.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, congratulations. There, we'll put that president.
There you go.
Quick to move that.
Yeah, you
He
can
was
get a big
quick to
head
move
now.
that.
I don't have a gavel or I would give it to you, but I'll let you take over the meeting if you would like.
All right, I'm signing that to make that official,
Okay, good idea.
and you have to do the same.
And the only other one I have for reorganization would be the board appointments. I have down currently Commissioner Wagner, Community Improvement Corporation, District Health Advisory Board, Chair, OSS Solid Waste District, Children and Family First, Regional Planning, Health Insurance Advisory, and Fair Board, Commissioner Stacy, Community Improvement Corporation, District Health Advisory Board, Board of Revisions, OSS, Records Commission, Regional Planning, WSOS, Tiffin Area Chamber of Commerce, and Erie Basin, and Commissioner Zoller, FEDC, CIC, WIA, District Health Advisory Board, Law Library Resources Board, Public Defender Commission, OSS Solid Waste, Regional Planning, and SIDEC. Do you wish those to change, or wish
We had,
those to be?
Fred, I had asked Fred last week, I said, when we do the reorganization, I said, I'm gonna express interest, I would like to take the Fostoria Economic Development.
Okay.
When I got to fill in for him a couple of times, and I told him that's when I realized I kind of missed being involved at that level, even though, not that we don't do the side, we go to some of the SIDEC things and so forth, but he'll still be the SIDEC rep, but
Okay.
he's.
Yep, yeah, I'm very supportive of that. I mean, I'll help in any way we can, as I have mentioned many, many, many times. I believe Fostoria is our gem in the rough over there. A lot of opportunities over there that we need to capitalize on.
The only question I had was, we're all three on the District Advisory Council for the Health Department. Normally, the chair of the board chairs that, but I don't know that it has to be that way. You have me down as chair.
Mhm. And that might just be because that's what we had it on the resolution
Do
for
they
last
determine
year.
that, or is that always
I-
from this board?
I think it's always been, because I think Marjorie called me a few weeks ago and said she wanted to meet with you, thinking that you were gonna be the next president, so, but I can ask, I could just put board, and take the chair off there.
Okay.
And then we can
Yeah.
determine
That'd be
that.
fine.
do it that
That'd be
way.
fine.
Okay.
We need a vote on
Any
accepting.
others that you can think of? Any
Did
other-
you want to relinquish something, Holly, since you're taking on FEDC? Or are you fine with everything that you're on? I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, and like with the WSOS, now that I've had the year, I'd hate to
Yeah.
have somebody else start over with that, otherwise I would, so, yeah, we'll leave the rest alone. That's okay.
Yep, I'm fine with that. I just
Okay.
don't want to overburden you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll reprint it, so it doesn't have my scratches on it.
Okay,
I'll make the motion that we approve that.
okay, second?
Second it?
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes. Approved, thank you. That will move us to a period of old business. Nothing listed on the agenda. Any commissioners have anything?
I have one real small thing, well, not a small thing, but it's you probably saw the email from Jill Griffin to me regarding Community Development Block Grant.
Okay.
Commissioner Wagner, did I misunderstand CDBG cost allocation? I thought it was 50% first year, 75 second year, 100% third year. 2013 was the first year. I received notification from the auditor that 100% was due for 14. I think it's just a miscommunication between the
Is that
auditors.
CDBG or is
That's
that
That's not regional planning or sewer district. Those were both 50.
Maximus? That's not
Yes,
Maximus?
yes, cost allocation.
The cost
Okay, so the
allocation is Maximus.
CDBG is the Maximus.
Correct.
So
Well-
this year, well, when did you guys start? When did the previous commissioner start it? I didn't quite understand.
I don't remember.
And there was a phase-in for all the other entities too.
There was a phase in of 50, 75, and 100, and I think the auditor just billed for 100 ahead of the 75 as an error, but Nicole went back through the tapes and couldn't find where we actually said 50, 75, and 100. She might have just missed it.
It
but-
was, we only said 50, 75, and 100 for the regional planning and sewer. And then they just said, and 50 for 2013 for CDBG, and nothing other than that was discussed.
I think it was the board's
So-
intention to do 50, 75, 100. I told Jill I'd bring it up today and we would clarify it. I guess that's my recommendation, is 50, 75,
And
100.
but last year was the first year, we know that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I've always heard, 50, 75, 100. I didn't know if it started in 12 or 13. If it started 13, then she should have 75% this year, not 100. I would agree with that.
I believe that's the way
I'll
it should
let
be.
Jill know that that's the case then, and that's all I had for old business.
Okay. Commissioner Zoller, did you have any old business?
No?
You and Mrs. Wilson?
Nope.
No. Okay. We'll move to new business, to begin with the bill vouchers and so forth.
Did you want to do Ken first? Before we
Oh.
go into new business?
We can, with Mr. Majors.
We didn't know if you wanted him first or.
Sure, I can talk whenever you like.
Yeah. Because we didn't list it.
Whatever suits your agenda.
Sure.
All right, well, what I'm here to talk to you about today, and I sent you guys an email regarding some of the information that we've come up with over there, doing our recognition of the EMTs over the past several months. We got that wrapped up in late December. And now we're moving to the second phase of the plan of what I wanted to get started here with how we're going to work towards the new future for EMS. I think it's fairly safe to say that the county has established a fairly good infrastructure for EMS here in Seneca County. We've got good equipment. We've got just a good overall infrastructure with communications and protocols and oversight and things like that. Where we're hurting really bad, and I know we've talked about this, is like I said, the crux of our problem is manpower. Especially at three of our more busy squads, which are based in Bettsville, Green Springs, and Attica. So what my plan of implementation is going to be for the next few months is to get out to these districts with your guys' help as much as possible and make them aware of it and kind of discuss some options for moving towards the future with, we have to start looking at things like paid personnel. We just have to. And when you say paid, that kind of gets people excited. When it's more of a reimbursement or a compensated volunteer model. The model that Bascom Joint Ambulance uses right here in the county, that's probably the best one to look at. But there's a bunch of other ones, and I outlined some of those for you guys to review. But we have to come up with something that's going to motivate and stimulate people to want to be volunteers in their community with EMS. And even if it's just a little bit of money, for example, Wyandotte County uses $1 an hour. And $1 an hour just says, yeah, I'll let you put my name on that schedule, and if anything happens, I'll come to your ambulance run. But $1 an hour is a pittance, but it's enough that it says, okay, they're giving me a little something for gas, and if you work 12 hours, you got $12, if you don't have any runs. And if you have runs, then they bump it up to whatever their compensation model is. So we have to start thinking of things like that. Where we need to do that, I think, is at the township level. But I need your help to do that. Because I work for you, and I need you guys to back me up to go to the townships. And those districts that we're talking about, I guess for clarification, we have 11 or so townships that we cover with 7 squads. So there's a lot of them are grouped together, like Attica, Venice, and Reed. Attica Village, Venice, and Reed townships could be an EMS district or an ambulance district. Then we got Bloom Township in the village of Bloomville, Pleasant and Adams Township, part of Pleasant Township, Adams Township, and the village of Green Springs. Right now, those are we're really hurting over there. We're out of service almost 75% of the time. So, with that being said, I think what we're doing and the way we're approaching it is a good one. It just takes a little bit of time, and I want to make sure that there's no confusion. I don't want anybody to get confused that that we're saying anything other than we need help doing this. That's what we're saying. We need help doing this. Whatever help that is, if we can find 100 people to come out of the woodwork and start working for free, that'd be great. But I think it's a little unrealistic at this point. So we have to start looking further for funding.
Thank you for putting this together. I read that a couple times over the weekend and again this morning, and I think what I'm seeing you saying in there is that this is a very deliberate, step-by-step process, and that we're gonna need buy-in from the locals. The commissioners aren't gonna dictate, hey, this is the way it's gonna be.
Right.
We're gonna do this, we're gonna have to get buy-in from the locals. And Ken and I are both going to some trustees meetings here this month in one of the most challenged areas of the county for manpower and talk to those folks. So I think we're going in the right direction, but it's gonna take some time. This isn't gonna happen in a year or even 2 years. It's gonna take some time to work this model that you've laid out. You like basically a variation of the Bascom model, and then I
Yep.
think we need to promote that.
Well, and I think what's important is to remember that we have to do it as a group, because for years, and I think through generational change at the township level, the generational change meaning that people got elected and voted in, voted out, and now we're 4 or 5 boards removed from where anything has actually ever been done with it. They don't really know their responsibility. And it's not nobody's fault, it's just they've never had to deal with it. And a lot of folks have this way about them where they just say, well, the county will take care of it. Well, you know, the county, we have done an excellent job, and I won't break my own arm and pat myself on the back, but the boards in recent history and the EMS directors in recent history have done a very good job of securing our infrastructure and planning and the way we do bills and the way that we maintain our compliance. So we do everything legal and above board, but we really need help with the people. The manpower thing is something we've never done anything with, and so we can't really be expected to pay for that. Personnel are expensive.
And you've been in this position now as a director with us since the spring. And, you know, you've outlined from the beginning, you know, working through, I think when you first meeting, you know, is I'm gonna put together a plan, and you've done that, and that's what you outlined in there. And, you know, this first step was that awareness piece that we were glad and privileged to be a part of. Through that process, I think, as you outlined, you clearly identified, you know, that took that feedback that you got from that going into the planning is where you've got to go next at this point. And I think this step is the right direction. You had other concepts, but, you know, the price tag just keeps getting bigger and bigger with some of those other ideas. And I think this is a very valid attempt to make sure that we can get those other local elected officials to start communicating together and realizing that, you know, we need them to step up now and look at how they can help with that manpower piece besides just getting the word out. We need help. And, you know, that would utilize the 7 squads we have. Those 7 districts are just, like you said, outlined a little different, and the way that would happen. And then, like I said, we can get through that piece and you can move on to an implementation process. That's the goal, and you've got to go through step 2.
Right, and we absolutely, like Commissioner Wagner said, we have to have buy-in from the local governments, because we can't do it. I can't go out and dictate policy to a township, and neither can this board. So that they have to come together and understand. Now, I think the challenge is going to be getting those boards to meet together. You know, getting Scipio Township and Republic in one room sometimes can be challenging, and I don't know why. I've noticed from going out and talking to these folks, sometimes they don't have those meetings. They're not normal.
Yeah,
So
not
it's
normal.
something that they don't do. So that's important, and I think we really need to do it now, because we have squads that have literally 5 EMTs. That's all there is. And there is no wonder that they're not in service, because they just physically aren't there. You know, we only have 5 people on a squad. We need 20, 5 ain't enough. So that's all I have for you.
Based on modeling, I'm trying to fast forward this. The thought process is try to somewhat model it after Hopewell and so forth. What is the cost per resident or per household, approximate cost for Hopewell? So that these townships at least have some kind of idea in the residents, because I think where a lot of this is going to come from is the residents of these townships are going to have to determine, do they want to continue with a quality EMS service in their in their locality, in their location? And then what is kind of an approximate cost? So that way we're not talking all
That's a
abstract.
good question, I don't know the answer. It would change per township based on population density, and it also changes by property values.
Yeah, but if we would look at Hopewell, what are they?
I don't
Do
know.
we have any idea how
I
much?
could ask
is-
Julie.
Yeah, they collect it, we'd have to, ask the auditor or ask them.
I don't know what
That'd be
the,
interesting
what the fee
to
is.
put that, to have that in the paper, that Hopewell Township is, the residents are paying X amount. At least that gives, I understand there's a whole bunch of different criteria, but at least it gives, we talking about $100 a year or $1,000 a year, or, per resident?
I know the
No
numbers
idea.
that we need, I don't know the numbers that they would need to develop to generate that. That's the thing that I don't know, and that's where we need the experts, the auditors and folks that do that kind of stuff, because I don't know that.
I mean, a key element here is we do have a system that is in the county with Hopewell that is sustainable and quality.
Absolutely.
So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We want to try to do is somewhat maybe mimic the wheel.
Well, and for the past
Maybe.
several months and even years, if you will, we've been encouraging folks to take advantage of that model, because that's not a new model. That's been around this state for decades. Hopewell is just the most recent one to do it here. If you look around up in the cities and around central Ohio, most of the townships pay for their EMS and fire through very similar situations. We're not asking for a great deal of money, we're just asking enough to pay some compensation for some volunteers. I mean, if we were asking for a 10 mil levy, that'd be something, but we never ask for that.
That's
We're
why it's
asking for less
interesting to
than a
find
1
out
mil.
what they are
you know?
paying, so you can get that information in the public's hands and
Yeah.
hopefully.
Right, and I don't know the answer to that. Where I went with this was pretty conceptual, just to give you guys ideas of the ways that it'll go. And then we need to, as a group, and the elected officials talking to elected officials need to say, let's make a move, because we're gonna have to do something. We've got 5 EMTs in one of our locations, and with no one training. So they're just gonna be less next year. And at what point, and another thing I need from you, which is leadership advice, is at what point do I say we're no longer effective and we take a squad out of service? I don't want to be the guy that makes that decision without direction, because I've already got people, calling me saying, well, that squad's out of service 75% of the time. Why do you even leave it there? It's a waste of money. So,
Yeah, I think going to the 2 townships in the most affected area
Right.
this month and saying, where do you guys want to go? I think that's the,
and I think that's
First
important,
step.
and that's what we'll do, and we're doing that Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll be at
that'd be the first one,
Yeah.
and then the 27th is the second one.
Right. So we've got a plan, we're gonna march forward with it, and then hopefully we can have the local elected officials see that what we're doing is gonna benefit them.
Everybody's gonna, it comes down to dollars and cents, and everybody's gonna wanna know what dollars and cents. I highly recommend it. Try to get I'm sorry, you got something?
Bascom's is a 1.2 mils for each $100 evaluation, which amounts to 12 cents for each $100 evaluation. So 12 cents per,
Per 100.
yep. And then Liberty's is a 0.15 mil. And so then theirs is 1 1.5 cents.
Which is interesting, Liberty isn't even collecting that.
They just,
are
they
now.
did,
Just started
Yeah.
collecting. They had that
They
in
had-
place for years, they had not been collecting it.
correct.
So Hopewell's a cent and a half per 100. So people can look at their evaluation and then come up with a figure, okay, this is gonna cost X amount if we do it. I mean, I think that's critical to understand that piece.
Yeah.
And then again, I think a lot of it's gonna be public opinion. To come back to your elected officials in those townships is this something they really want? Or
Right.
they wanna maintain a quality EMS service in their township, or
Well, I think
Somewhat of a
the
hybrid.
real bottom line is of whether we want an ambulance service at all in that, because we can't do it. You have to do it legal or you can't do it. So if it's not gonna be compliant with all the statutes and rules, we have to pull the ambulance. We can't just leave it there and hope for the best.
Yeah. And I think you and I talked that under ORC, we are not
Nope,
committed that the county has to maintain the ambulance service.
that's absolutely true.
So
The county is not required by ORC to.
it's at the discretion of the commissioners
It is.
if we run that. Now, how we operate it is where we run into the piece here.
That's true.
I think that's interesting to make that public.
And Ken, we have you as the director, and you're working your strategy on this.
Yes.
And you can count on us through this planning process. As you go out, like you got Jeff going with you on these first two, on these meetings, because you do, we need to be there, part of that with you, and help any way we can. And if you need us, just holler.
And
so
I
we can do
appreciate
that.
it, and where I'm going is the most affected areas first. So we're hitting Green Springs, Adams, and Pleasant Township first, then we're going to Bettsville, then we're going to Attica, and then I'll go down from order of precedence from there, and based on the need. Those areas, the northern part of the county, the eastern part of the county, right now are significantly short on personnel.
If you look at really the responsibility of the commissioners, it really falls down in the protection, safety through the sheriff's office, fire protection, and EMS.
Exactly.
That's our primary responsibility.
And we may not know, as the township leadership may not know what the price tag is, but we know we cannot afford to not have somebody feel safe and not
Right.
have a squad show up when they dial 911.
And I know that from our budget, talking budgets here, we can't afford what our neighbors do. So we're gonna have to come up with our own solution to this. And I think that's a good challenge, and I think we'll be okay, as long as we get some buy-in from the local elected officials.
It's a good start. We're here to help,
Thank you.
anyway.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have drafted up a new contract. The last one that was done was in 1978. And we've had Derek approved this one. Yeah, it was drafted a few years ago. So we'd like to potentially, because some of these, like you both said, the townships have changed hands, so they don't know the responsibility. The contract, it's a 1978 contract, maybe they don't know. They don't understand that in the contract that the townships and the commissioners had signed says, we will get you all the equipment you need. We just need you to get the people. So that may be something we could take with us. But it's available, and we did get that drafted out if just to update the new contract.
Thank you.
Great. And along those lines, when we talk about economic development and safety's a strong thing, I failed to mention we've got a new face in town, and I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce David Zach. David wants to wave to everybody. He is the new director of SIDAC, and started in the lovely weather last Monday, and he said he did get to the office and had a quiet day to get acquainted with his desk, I guess, and everything else. You want to say anything, Zach? Or
Yeah,
David, excuse me. You got two first names like I do. This is going to be a
That's
challenge.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm excited about what I think is a tremendous potential for this county and for the communities and townships within it. So I wouldn't be here if I weren't. My job is to sell both the citizens and the businesses inside here and outside of this community on how great a place this is and how great the people are and how great the businesses are. And I wouldn't have come here if I didn't think I could do that. So I'm excited to be joining you all and look forward to learning a lot and contributing a lot. So
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
thank you so much.
And thanks for coming by to our meeting, and stay as long as you like, and we understand if you cannot stay for this whole list of things that we've got to go through. So,
I don't know if the judge needs a time limit or not.
Judge Kelbley, did you need to address anything before we get into all of our
Well,
resolutions?
if you're gonna pay EMTs $1 an hour, you need to go back to 1978, because that's when I ran with the nerves.
And then we do backpack?
Yeah, with a backpack, plus interest, and I'll be happy.
Well, thank you for your service.
Believe me, it was my pleasure. It's a valuable service, that's for sure. No, I thought we'd be talking about snow at some point, but it's got a bunch of other stuff. I'll go back and do my regular
Well,
job.
we are gonna be talking about
We
that
are gonna
later
talk
if you
about
wanna
snow.
wait, but maybe a while.
Yeah.
We could move that
I'll wait
forward.
until I can't take it anymore.
Do we want to? Would you
Don't jump ahead just for me. You got people that have been waiting here a long time. That's all right.
Do you want to move up and talk about the snow? Let's do that. Let's move let's move it up and talk about the snow, because we appreciate you coming over, and if you got some input, we don't want to tie you up for a half hour to, and then you'll have to move on and miss that. So, we had listed after following all the new business to talk about, not that snow is new, but we haven't sat here and talked about our policies and so forth as a board. So we listed it under additional new business, the snow closing policy. I think Commissioner Zoller wanted to talk about this a little bit. And, under the recent incident, hindsight's 2020. We all know how we might do things now and so forth, but Commissioner Zoller.
Yeah, I'm certainly not faulting, anything in the past. It's just, as you have mentioned, hindsight is 2020, and we've certainly have learned some things over the past week and so forth and so on. And one of the things that's been brought to my attention is kind of a snow day policy. And I've got some information here that received from Ottawa County, and I'm not sure Sandusky County, but Ottawa County, that they have a procedure that they go through. I understand the sheriff has the overriding jurisdiction in the community when he states a level 3 and so forth. But I think that there can be some additional procedures in place. Like, for instance, I personally believe the commissioner's office in a level 3 situation should be open. I believe that commissioners, and I may differ from the other commissioners here, but I believe that the commissioner's office is kind of the clearinghouse for the community. If situations arise or come up that people need to go to some place to get direction. We've had a lot of damage at the JFS and at the Annex building and so forth and so on. So first, I'd like the commissioners to read the policy that Ottawa County has, and what they do is there's a procedure where they would get like one of the judges and of course the sheriff and so forth to establish whether the government offices are going to be closed that day. That's one issue I think that we need to look at. The other one is I think we need to evaluate. I understand that we did away with the maintenance supervisor some years ago. And while I applaud the maintenance people, I was there last Tuesday at 9 o'clock at night while they were squeegeeing water out of the Annex building, and I mean they were there in force. But if we had a maintenance supervisor, could we not have prevented some things? Just as a suggestion, when you get down to temperatures below 0 like that, I mean, should we have every X amount of hours that somebody takes a walk through the county buildings? And my estimation is, I'll bet you JFS is gonna be, don't print this because we got the adjusters there now, but I think it's gonna be $100,000 plus loss. And we look at that, and I know we got insurance to cover that and so forth, but again, you take out, you draw on the insurance, it's gonna affect you some way or other. You're gonna have to, we're paying for it. So I think we need to evaluate the need for a maintenance supervisor and some sort of procedure when we get into those situations when it's below 0 like that. And also that I would recommend that we evaluate from the employee standpoint. I understand there was a lot of confusion from our county employees, should they go to work or not, what's the whole situation there. And using a procedure like what Ottawa County has got, there's set procedures that they go through to determine closures of county buildings and county facilities.
And currently, our policy is that the county is closed other than obviously essential personnel
Correct.
On a level 3.
on a level 3.
On a level 3.
On a level
Do
3.
we consider the commissioner's office an essential part of that?
Not to my understanding.
No.
Yeah.
Now, and are you indicating that as us as a board, that aside from whatever, because I haven't had a chance to read that policy,
yeah.
but the three of us as a board, that we would just have an understanding, if we hit, based on current policy, if we hit a level 3, let's the three of us communicate with each other and see if who's gonna come in and possibly, clear messages in case they didn't call, because 9 times out of 10, they probably want you or Dan or Sheriff
Yeah.
Eckleberry.
It could even be
Not us,
yeah.
but, it doesn't hurt that we couldn't make sure we come in and people know they catch somebody here and or forward that phone to a phone or something.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, even if you can't physically be here to forward, I know that, my personal phone at the commissioner's office, somebody calls that, it automatically calls my cell phone, but I look at, if they didn't call my specific extension, they just called into the general mailbox, they didn't know where to go or what to do. So somehow or other, I believe that the commissioner's office, in a situation like we had last week, is considered an essential government office, and since we are kind of the clearinghouse for the community, I think that we should be open or at least accessible, one way or other.
As far as that part of it goes, I would not ask the staff to come in on a level 3. I think when the sheriff's saying stay off the road, you don't encourage people to get on the road. And then I was here both Monday and Tuesday for a little while. I answered phones for about 3 hours on Tuesday and had 2 calls in that 3 hours. One was on Wolf Creek and one was Mr. Zach called, wanted to know if he was gonna have a meeting. So I don't know if we're as essential as we think we are when it comes to emergencies like that. We're essential office, but in an emergency situation, I don't know that we're, but I'm happy to come in. I got 4-wheel drive, I'm happy to come in on a snow day and answer phones for a few hours. That'd be great with me, but I don't wanna encourage employees to come in when it's level 3. Then one of them gets hurt or has an accident, hurts somebody else. I don't think we're that important. But if we can get in, I think the 3 of us should come in or have
Better have the phone,
forwarded.
can the main phone be transferred to, like, you get on the individual phone?
Yep.
I'm fine with that, as long as somehow, I don't envision people coming up to the door as much as I do calling into the county and saying, hey, you know, this or that, or so forth and so on.
They shouldn't be driving if it's a level 3.
Yeah,
I mean, legitimately, the people, that's the point, is to keep people off the road so emergency crews can do their job.
And again, I'm fine with the policy as long as we hit a level 3, that we automatically put the main phone on, transfer to one of us commissioners or somebody. I'm fine with that. I don't mean that somebody's physically gotta be here. I just think, I consider the commissioner's office being an essential government office. That at some form or other, we need to be be able to be communicated with the different government agencies and within the general public, along with perhaps, and I'll give this to you fellow commissioners, we can look what other counties have done to establish snow days and from the employees. That's more from an employee standpoint.
And along with reading that policy, but possibly having something that once, the level 3 is called, yes, we have the standard policy, but at least some kind of a notification tree system that might pull in that at that point, the next level being the presiding judge, one of us, whomever else, and then maybe, just, okay, you take these departments and call those heads of departments and or other elected officials so that they can get
Filter it down.
get the word out, because we don't need, and as soon as he makes that call, he's gonna notify media and he's gonna, get it out there as quick as he can. But if it's in the hours of such, we're not in offices, we may not see it, and that might be a good system to do.
And sheriff does call me. He does call me, and I spoke with majority of departments. I know sheriff was contacting some of the judges for me and helping me let department heads and elected officials know. But this is our policy to shut down when the roads are shut down. We're shut down. Commissioners' previous boards had tried to shut the county down, and certain elected officials very much opposed to that. So the policy has been accepted by department heads and elected officials as it is. To change that, we're gonna have to get the buy-in from the elected officials, because you can't tell prosecutor's office, his girls have to be there, or that they can't be there. He's the elected official. He chooses that, and I only bring up Derek because he was one that called and asked what we were considering changing it to, and he said he wasn't supportive of changing it. It was a level 3. Unless he absolutely needs somebody to hear, his policy is to close, and then if he needs you here, he'll call you. So, and I stay in touch with the elected officials, and whichever ones the sheriff doesn't get, I try to get.
So we do have a phone tree, basically.
Yeah.
Judge, any comments?
No, not really. I think we just need to, whatever policy we have, I think we need to maybe dust it off and take another look at it. My personal policy is a level 3. If it's a level 3, then I'm closing at least my office, but I think it'd be better to have a county-wide plan. And certainly, when you're talking about trying to generate more EMTs, let's get all the county elected officials together to get everybody on board for it. I mean, if, for example, I made a personal decision to keep the court open, but the clerk of courts made a decision to close the clerk of courts, well, I can tell you, there wouldn't be anything happening on the third floor of the annex, because without that office, I can't function. I've always thought it should be a commissioner's decision to make, and that decision, I think, should be made upon the condition of the highways in the county, and that information is best found through the sheriff's office, I believe. I know Wednesday morning I had the new grand jurors coming in. I got up early, drove around the county a little bit, and it was, I think at that time we were a level 2, and I made the decision to go ahead, and I'm happy to report that the people of Seneca County came in to serve as grand jurors. So I just think we need to have a policy, and whatever that policy is, when the decision is made, again, my personal choice, although I'll go with whatever is the decision. I think the commissioner should make that choice based upon what the sheriff's input has to be. Level 3 is an easy cutoff, I think. And then somehow fashion a way to get the word out. I didn't learn that it was a level 3 until Monday morning at 7-ish, I think.
That's,
Ms. Eckleberry from Judge Duff's office called me. I said, well, if it's a level 3, we're closed, because my concern, it was so cold out that if somebody tried to come in and you went in the ditch, I mean, if it's just a bunch of snow and it's 30 degrees, you're not gonna freeze to death. But I think Monday morning, if you're on a township road and you get into a ditch, nobody may find you for a while. Right?
Yeah.
And there are, obviously, the sheriff's office needs to stay open. And then from there, I don't know what offices need to be open. But I just came to listen, and I don't think I've shared with you anything other than common sense. Certainly a level 3 should be on the road.
I think one of the things you said that I liked is we need to dust it off. Let's get the policy out, since we're at that time of year. Let's read it. If we can agree upon it, then let's get it out to the department head so that everybody refreshes everybody's memory.
Well, if
That's
you're
it.
still going with level 3, then yeah, let's do that. And all I do is then call, I don't have as many staff people as other offices do. I have the home numbers of all of my staff, and I call them.
Yeah, I think the level 3 is very simple, it's very easy to understand, and easy to remember, really. I mean, we got dusted off every few years because we haven't had this for 2-3 years probably, but level 3 is very easy to understand, and everybody knows when level 3 is called. I just think that's, everything's closed at level 3, and then if Judge Kelby feels that a level 2, he doesn't want to bring his grand jurors in, he can make that decision.
Well, if I'd gotten stuck out in the county, I would have called them off, because I would have been stuck out in the
Yeah,
county.
yeah, yeah.
But it's hard for me to make that call, because I live in town now, and I could
Yeah.
kind of get around.
Or if Damon feels that on a level 2, one of his
Right.
girls can't make it in. Other than that, you use personal time
Yeah.
if you can't make it. That just seems a simple answer to me. Is that what the policy is now?
Yeah, it's pretty much that, well, it says, when an emergency closing of the county is declared by the governor of the state, county commissioner, sheriff, or by the presiding judge, employees will be compensated for their time that they were scheduled to work during the emergency period. So level 3, stay home, level 2, come in. And then if not, they have to use their personal time, so.
So that if it's a level 3, they have to use their personal time,
No.
or we just pay for it anyway?
They're
No.
paid anyway on level 3. Level 2, if an office would decide they're going to close,
Yeah.
their employees to be paid would have to be using some kind of personal time.
Or if it's a
Or
level
vacate
2,
out.
Nikki says, I'm out in Attica, I can't make it, she'd take vacation time.
You could have a level 3 come up during the day as well, conceivably, March, ice storm.
Yeah.
Of course, what we do then is close the county, send everybody out the worst roads that there are,
Stay
but,
home.
but, you know, I don't think you need to
That
fashion
policy
Yeah, yeah.
out, just to, so
Email it.
refreshes everybody's.
Email it to everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now currently,
Level
I,
3 is an easy way to go.
yeah.
I don't call the media, because that was an issue years ago with previous boards, that, you know, somebody called me and said, you put it on the radio and my office needs to report to work, and all it says is Seneca County closed, or Seneca County government closed. I mean, I could do that, and I think Teresa even asked, Teresa Cobb asked if she could call the local radio station and put something to that effect on. And I said, yeah, just make sure it's, let people know to call their,
I think what we have is good, it just
Okay.
needs to be, people need to, we lose track a couple years.
Yeah,
So,
we haven't had to use it.
I can scan it and send it to you.
And that was about the time I believe it got called, was between 7 and 7:30.
That's, yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't any sooner than that, so.
Well, we want to make sure that no county employee is injured or worse. And more importantly, we don't want people out in the county trying to get into something when they're, I think not only, and certainly we have news media here today, but I think when the word spreads it, if it's a level 3, the county offices are instructed to be closed. But you gotta figure, obviously, the sheriff's office doesn't close.
Right.
And then whatever other services need to continue and are, quite frankly, why we have those for that type of thing.
Yep.
EMTs and all of that as
Yeah.
well, so.
All right, thank you.
Sure,
All right, then I guess we will move.
thanks for taking it out of order, I apologize to the people.
No, that's all right.
The only other thing, Commissioner Stacy, I'd like to state on that is I would like to get a letter of acceptance or approval. I was overwhelmed by how well ODOT helped us. Tuesday evening, when there was flooding at the annex building, I went up there and they were squeegeeing all the water out, and it was just like an ice skating rink. Rock salt did no good at all for maintenance to put it out. I didn't know what else to do, but I went out to ODOT. They brought their trucks in and put cinders around all the county parking lots, and I knew that the next day they were gonna have a grand jury, so they put cinders on the sidewalk getting in. I'd like to just get a letter. There was a Mrs. Enders,
Sue Enders?
Sue Enders. I mean, she just was absolutely just marvelous. I went out there, I said, hey, can you help us out? Yep.
Yeah, Sue's
Truck
good.
followed me right in and did all this stuff and, put cinders down in the parking lot so the next, because rock salt did no good at all.
No.
And I just, pardon?
Tanya's working on that.
Did you? I just, very seldom you see government agencies work so well together, but they just step right up to the plate there.
Good. All right. All right. Thank you. Guess we will go back to the top of the new business with the beginning of bill vouchers.
I have bill voucher number 1. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the general fund for 2014. Putting into the coroner's, I don't know if it's supposed to be his contract service line. I thought it was supposed to be his other expense to pay his dues. It had been raised, I think, for 2013, so we had to supplement his budget last year. And this year, when we do his budget, he usually doesn't ask for anything else, so we just did his budget the same as last year. And Diane Kelbley called and said, we forgot, they did increase the dues, we didn't put it in his budget. So, it's $952, but I think it should be in the other expense.
That's what is on our online thing over here, unless it got mixed up somehow on the resolution.
I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made for the LGF alternate formula to the Soil and Water Fund 042. This is moving from our general fund to their 042 Soil and Water Floodplain Administration for $10,000. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made for the LGF formula to the Ambulance Service Fund 064. Moving $180,000 from the general fund to the ambulance service fund. We have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made for the LGF alternative formula to the EMA fund 102, moving $60,000 from general funds to the EMA fund. A resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the bond retirement fund 310. This is moving $480,454.74 from the general fund to the bond retirement fund. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the note retirement fund 312, putting $122,000 into from the general fund into the 312. I have a decrease to the permanent appropriations for the hazardous materials fund 150, reducing salaries $335, Medicare $4.86, PRS $46.90 for a reduction of $386.76. It's just over appropriated. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Community Development Block Grant Fund 105, putting $600 into the public rehab CSB HVAC line, $2,657.87 to fair housing, $3,350.85 to other expense, for a total of $6,608.72. And a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Seneca County Sewer District Construction Fund 224, putting $103,835.73 into transfers out. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund. This is at the request of the sheriff, moving $2,000 from equipment radio to supplies from his road to his jail side, $4,000 from contract services to other expense, and $1,572.05 from contract services to equipment. Total moved $7,572.05. Apparently the sheriff just had his numbers crossed, didn't put anything in his other line, so instead of asking for it, he just moved it. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Sheriff Commissary Fund 028, putting $3,579.27 into equipment. Supplement to the permanent appropriations for the Ohio Peace Officer Training Grant Fund 152, putting $700 into training. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations within the DARE Fund 116, putting $170 into supplies. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance repayment from the FY 2010 State Homeland Security Grant Fund 206 to the general fund, moving the $4,602.50. I have a resolution authorizing a contract service agreement with Crawford County Board of Commissioners for the receipt, custody, and care of Crawford County juveniles on behalf of Seneca County Youth Center. A resolution authorizing a contract service agreement for Huron County Board of Commissioners for the receipt, custody, and care of Huron County juveniles on behalf of the Seneca County Youth Center. I have resolution authorizing the Seneca County engineer to hold an annual meeting of county and township authorities. He has scheduled the annual meeting for Thursday, March 20th, 2014 at 6 p.m. See if they usually have this at the fairgrounds. He doesn't have.
Did you say 6 p.m. on the 20th?
6 p.m. on the 20th, March 20th.
That almost always conflicts with the
SIDEC.
Chamber. I'm not sure which it was. Is it? Do you know when that date is, Mr. Zach? The SIDEC's having a
Which the,
your annual?
that has
meeting?
not yet been
Okay,
set.
good. Well, March 20th is not a good day.
Just saying.
I have a resolution authorizing Seneca County engineer to use the force account pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 5543.19, for the year of 2014, matter of routine maintenance of equipment and yard facilities, such emergency work as necessary. A resolution designated Mark R. Zimmerman as the authorized agent to participate in the ODOT Cooperative Purchasing Program. I have a resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds for supplies for times of snow removal, emergencies, and meetings held by the Seneca County engineer. I have resolution authorizing the Seneca County engineer to prepare and submit the application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission state capital improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs, and to execute contracts as required for issue 1, Route 29 for Seneca County. A resolution establishing the ability to dispose of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit county property by means of online internet auctions as an alternative to public auction or sealed bids, charging county department administrators or directors with disposal management oversight. I have a resolution accepting the request to terminate the Seneca County Public Defenders Commission effective May 2nd, 2014. I have a resolution appointing Randy Weiser to the term for the Sandusky Seneca City of Tiffin Port Authority Board of Directors, term expiring March 1st, 2018. And I think that's all I have.
Stacy, are you sure about that? Because I thought Randy took my position on the port once I become a commissioner, and he was appointed by Sandusky County. My appointment was by Sandusky County, so his transferred over. So we need to,
This is at the request from
The board of directors.
the,
Jim?
we need to clarify that.
I'll
Dave, 'cause you're
clarify
on
today.
The port,
Yeah.
see if Randy's, I was on the port, but I was appointed through Sandusky County.
Okay.
And then, so Randy took my appointment once I had to resign from that,
Okay.
and to see if he's appointed by Sandusky County or Seneca County.
Stacy, who sent that to you?
it was Rich. This is the Sandusky
Okay.
Seneca Tiffin Port Authority.
I'll find out.
Has one position of the Board of Directors that floats every 4 years. By this, we mean the authority to appoint a member changes every 4 years between Sandusky, Seneca, and City of Tiffin. The seat is recognized as term 1 seat on our board. The seat is currently held by Randy Weiser. Address and last appointed by Sandusky County, which being it's a rotating, Seneca County would be filling the appointment. With this letter, we are notifying you and asking you for the new appointment to fill the term which begins March 2nd, 2014 and go till March 1st, 2018. In accordance with the bylaws, we respectfully request the Seneca County Commissioners to reappoint to the SST board.
Maybe you finished your term, and that's up, and
I mean, I would, let's put it this way, I would recommend to do it, and then if there are any issues, I'll find out.
You can always rescind it or take it back. if
Yeah,
you need to.
exactly.
yeah.
Only if there'll be a gap in case. Right, yeah, I got it. But either way, I'll find out and let you know, whatever you want.
Couple of
Made
questions.
made it through
I
the whole list, yeah, what questions
A
is?
couple of questions. One is, we're looking at the bond retirement of $480,000. What is the balance left on our, what I was able to investigate, we've, in 2019, that we will reduce our bond obligation down from $480,000 annually down to
About 140.
140, yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, a big chunk
Yep.
lobs off in 2019.
Then in 23, it's done.
Yes, in 2023, the county is completely out of debt, completely out of debt, okay. The other thing is, when I see the authorization for the Seneca County Youth Center, is this something similar to ICE? Are we gonna be able to generate
Exactly.
They do,
some
yep.
funds?
He
in-
generates funds for the youth center through these
That-
contracts.
Okay, that we can use it very similar as ICE, that we can use that to maybe decrease what we appropriate for them? Do we have this money to
Well,
supplement?
these are continuing contracts. So these are contracts that have already been in place, so no
Yeah.
new money is being generated
Yeah,
with
but since
these
this
two.
is really the first full year of the youth center being able to bring in outside personnel.
He's been doing
He's
this
been-
for several years with the old,
Even in the old building.
building.
Really?
And it's built into the revenue projections where we have like ICE revenue projection. There's a line where juvenile court has some money built into. It's built into the revenue projections that the budget commission figures at the beginning of the year. Judge usually does a good job of going over on his, a little bit, you know. I was gonna mention that too. I compliment Judge, forgot his name already. Judge
Rath?
Meyer, thank you.
Oh,
Judge Meyer for doing the contracts. He does Crawford, Huron, and I think he does Morrow County as well.
So that's bringing in additional very similar to ICE?
Very similar to ICE.
Very similar, okay, I think.
It comes
think I
in, the
understand
budget
ICE.
commission gives it to us as a lump along with the sales tax and everything, and then it's divvied back out here. He makes it more affordable.
Okay.
The judge has done a great
That's-
job, and the staff, I guess, out at the youth center.
Good, good. The last thing is just Public Defenders Commission. I happen to reside on that commission, was one of my responsibilities as a board. And they said basically they have no jurisdiction, they have nothing, so they might as well disband it.
And there is a letter that you guys, that's with that resolution that you
attached to
guys
the
have to
resolution.
sign.
Oh, we gotta send the letter?
Yeah, because you have to give, the state the 90-day notice, so when I send the resolution, I have to send the letter along with it.
Okay.
We met a couple times last year and they said they had no authority to do anything and it just, other than just to meet and shake hands, they said we might as well disband it.
And that doesn't take place until May, so I don't know if you guys just won't have any more meetings.
Okay.
Well, there was a letter at least.
All right.
Oh, never mind, I signed it.
Is there any other discussions or questions on any of the resolutions as presented?
I make a motion, we approve the resolutions.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Whitman?
Yes.
Commissioner Solar?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes. And I think we've covered the additional new business items.
No, not new business.
No, no, what?
I don't think we've discovered,
Okay, we had,
discussed new business, I wanted to.
okay, well, let's go to new business, and we have, or continue with new business, I guess. We discussed the snow closing policy, and you mentioned some thoughts on the maintenance performance, or what you would like to possibly look at seeing there.
Yeah, one of the other thing I wanted to discuss is JFS. They've had quite a bit of damage out there. The adjuster will be there today before noon today. We need to have, God, I don't want this to go in the paper, but just have to do it.
No.
You know, the JFS has already got bids. They were gonna replace the carpet out there. Okay. Now, since we've had a lot of water damage, we're waiting to get the opinion from the adjusters. If they'll pay for 100% of it, then boom, it's a no-brainer. If they only pay for 50% of it, it is my feeling, well, we got this thing disrupted and everything's tore up. If you go out there and you see it, it is absolutely, I mean, they've done a marvelous job of consolidating this huge building down to a couple little closets where they're operating with now. But while they've got everything disrupted, they might as well go ahead and replace the carpet now. So my feeling is whatever the insurance adjuster doesn't, and that Kathy and I have been in conversation that they have some funds available. They had the $300,000 that we appropriated them, and I think they had some bids of $20,000, $30,000 for carpet. So whatever the insurance doesn't pay, they might as well get it done now, since they got everything. They got to move all their cubicles out because of the water damage and so forth. So we hope that, again, it'll make it real easy if the insurance is going to pay 100% of it. I don't know what they're going to do, but my feeling is we might as well authorize her just to get it done right now. Whatever they don't pay, that she's got out of her funds, that she can pay, and just do it. And then while they got everything done, she's talking about painting the walls out there too. Because they'll have the room completely stripped out.
Is there anything we even have to do with that since they have that monies?
I think we gotta authorize it.
I don't know, I wouldn't want them to use the 300,000 we gave them for foster care. I think she's got some other monies she can hopefully tap into. I don't wanna use that foster care money if we can,
No, I think you guys gave her the extra.
from last year.
Yes.
Yeah, but that
yeah.
come out of the 300,000
Yeah.
for foster care she didn't use.
That was,
She
yeah.
feels that she has enough money, she can float around and not have to come back to the commissioners for additional funds. But we really need authorization for her. Just go ahead, whatever the insurance company doesn't cover, just do it now.
I think that makes sense.
Right.
I would hope the insurance company would
Cover it.
cover it.
It's in the government,
Yeah, that's, well, if it goes in the paper tomorrow, they're out there by noon today, so we should have their.
Like I said, even if they were planning to do something, 2 months from now or 4 months from now, the fact is the incident occurred and that's what insurance is for.
Right.
So-
Yeah, yeah. And now's the time to do it while they got everything disrupted out there. I mean, it's a sight to be seen out there,
Yeah.
how they're doing things.
Yeah.
I mean, in a good way, but it's
Right.
chaos.
Yeah, they're doing a good job in
chaos.
maintaining services through all
Yeah,
that.
and that's it, as
Yeah.
Kathy and I discussed, I think it was Wednesday morning, and, it was Tuesday, and everything in chaos, I said the most important thing is right now, Job and Family Services, people may need that assistance. We need to be open and as quickly as we possibly can, because I consider that kind of an essential government agency, because in this kind of catastrophic situation, people need services. And she was able to consolidate, I don't know how they did it, but they worked through the night, and they got computers in closets and everything where they're operational now. So,
On the high ground.
yeah, they're on the high ground. Yeah,
Good thing.
Good point. So that's all I wanted to do, is make sure that we kind of can give her authorization, let's get the thing done now. Well, it's done. That's it, I'll shut up.
I
Alright.
had one
Yes.
small suggestion. It's a little over 2 weeks till the Wolf Creek final ditch hearing. That's on the 30th on Thursday. I would suggest we get Mr. Zimmerman in here either next Tuesday or the following Tuesday, just to again go over procedure so we're all on the same page, not to discuss maybe the decision, but I think you're going next Tuesday. The Tuesday after that is our evening meeting. I don't know if he's available for that or if we want to do that then, but I think at one of those meetings between now and then, we ought to just come in and touch base so we're on the same page, if that's agreeable with.
Yes. Where is our evening meeting at? I know you said.
Republic,
Republic?
Republic, January
guess-
28th.
Check with Mark's schedule and see what works for him, but I think that's a good suggestion. Because again, it's just a little bit different animal, and I'm sure we,
No, something we do every day.
right. Okay,
I emailed the prosecutor too and just gave him a little reminder of when it was, because he was unavailable last week, so I just reminded him 2 weeks ahead that it's on this day.
it's coming
Is that
up.
7 or 7:30? 7?
7.
7?
We did 7:30 last year, we decided we were gonna move it up to 7.
In
Yeah.
the summertime, or wintertime, yeah.
So 7 o'clock.
I'm fine with that, Commissioner.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
All
So
right.
you'll follow up with
Yep.
that?
I'll call Mark.
All right, there's no other new business. What period for citizens' comments? Anything from the general public? For us? Yes.
Yes, I do have a comment on what Fred said a little bit ago about county maintenance foreman. When Mr. Kingseed was the foreman over there, when those guys came to work in the morning, they knew what they were gonna do. Each one of them, he had their job planned out for the day. Every time they came in, they knew what they were gonna do. I sincerely believe you need a foreman. There needs to be somebody with solid direction. I can't imagine a group of people coming in. I know they understand what needs to be done, but if they're not put in that direction, this job might be easier. I'd rather do that today, or this. And I'm not saying they're doing that, but I really believe you need a foreman in there, Fred. I'm 100% on your side with that, because I
Dean
remember
Distel
when
is
I
our
was-
foreman.
Yeah, we didn't take that part away. We took apart the paperwork. The ladies here do the paperwork, paying of the bills. But Dean is in charge, and he assigns duties to people as he gets the work requests from this office.
He's classified as our foreman.
So he may not be the same strong personality Denny was, but he's still in charge of making sure it all gets done.
Okay, because
We do have a leader, that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah.
We do,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
do
he's
have.
in
I'm-
charge.
Okay,
Right.
there is a
Okay.
supervisor.
I just,
He may not be called a supervisor anymore because the pay is less than it was, because we did take all the paperwork over here, which made sense. It didn't make sense for Jim to be over there paying bills and doing all the paperwork when really we're more set up to do the paperwork. Yeah, you're right, there has to be a boss, absolutely. You can't just have 4 guys doing whatever they want.
I mean,
There has to
they
be a
might,
boss.
I mean, they know what needs to be done, I understand that, but if, yeah,
He makes
Okay.
sure to,
thank you.
he prioritizes pretty well on what needs to get done on what buildings and where, and if there's an emergency, they do drop what they need to do to go to that.
And you send all the work orders to one guy, you don't send them to just.
Right,
you
they
send
all
them
come to me
Jim.
and then I give them
I
to
mean,
Dean, and Dean will pass them out as needed, so. And they make, I mean, there's still times where people will call and say, hey, this is the issue out here, and, all right, send a work order, but I will call Dean, and Dean will get right up to that issue to make sure that it is done.
Yeah, he
Anything
had a
else?
chalkboard over there, and he put their names were there, and they knew what they were
Yeah,
gonna do,
Yeah,
which was, I think, great.
yeah. Yeah, he had his pluses and minuses, just like
Yeah,
all
oh,
of
yeah.
them did, but, yeah.
Yeah,
He
Thank
was-
you.
He was a good leader.
All right, is there anything else from the general public? And if not, I guess we'll stand adjourned. Do we need a motion on that?
I moved to adjourn.
Second.
We've been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
You're adjourned, thank you.
What leadership?